Welcome to this explainer. So, let's just dive right into what is honestly a pretty jarring medical paradox. Millions of us, literally millions, drink black coffee every single day, right? And we do it specifically for the supposed health benefits. But what if I told you that very same habit might actually be aging your brain and clogging your arteries? I know, it sounds totally contradictory. But as we look really closely at the latest medical insights, we're finding this massive disconnect between what we think is healthy and how our bodies actually process that daily cup of joe. So, is your daily coffee habit secretly aging you? Well, it's a trap that over 90% of seniors are falling into. You might think your morning routine is giving you a nice longevity boost, but because of a few simple, everyday mistakes, it's actually doing way more harm than good. Take a 65-year-old patient we'll call Tanaka, mentioned in our source material, who experienced this firsthand. Tanaka drank hot black coffee every single morning to wake up. He viewed it as a totally healthy ritual. But instead, he chronically suffered from high blood pressure, really severe heartburn, and this frustrating brain fog that just clouded his days. But here's the remarkable part. Once he just slightly altered his coffee method, those alarming symptoms completely vanished. So what are these hidden traps that Tanaka fell into? Let's break this down. We're going to count down the top 3 most dangerous morning coffee habits that absolutely destroy its health benefits. These are so incredibly common, but they are seriously damaging your body from the inside out. Section 1. 3 dangerous morning habits. Starting with number 3. Drinking your coffee while it is still boiling hot. Now, how many of us feel like, if it's not steaming hot, it's just not real coffee? We pour it straight from the pot, take that first burning sip. But guys, this is a silent daily hazard.
Here's the thing. Your esophagus is lined with a mucosa layer that is literally as fragile and delicate as fine silk. And the World Health Organization officially warns that consuming liquids over 65 degrees Celsius has a high potential to actually increase cancer risks. When you pour scalding liquid down your throat every single morning, you are causing repeated thermal burns to that delicate silk. The cells are forced to constantly, frantically repair themselves. And this endless cycle of burn and repair, it leads to chronic, deep tissue inflammation, which drastically raises your risk of esophageal cancer over time. It is an easily avoidable trauma to your system.
Thankfully, the solution is incredibly easy. First, brew your coffee, then simply wait 3 to 5 minutes. Just let it cool down to 60 degrees Celsius or below. By doing this, you still get all the amazing antioxidant benefits and that rich flavor of the coffee, but you completely protect your throat from that daily thermal shock. Okay, that brings us to the second most dangerous habit, and this one is all about what you might be putting into your cup. Non-dairy creamer pods and artificial sweeteners. The harsh reality here is that those tiny non-dairy creamer pods, they aren't milk at all. They're actually an emulsion of plant oils and water, heavily processed and completely packed with trans fats. In the medical community, these trans fats are essentially considered liquid plastic. Think about your blood vessels like water pipes. Consuming these creamers is like pouring wet concrete down a rusty pipe. It causes the bad cholesterol to just plummet out of the blood and firmly stick to your vessel walls, which skyrockets your risk of blockages and heart attacks. And those zero-calorie artificial sweeteners? Oh, they are just as bad. They completely wipe out the good, essential bacteria in your gut. And we now know through some really extensive research that a damaged gut microbiome is directly linked to an accelerated rate of cognitive decline, increased brain fog, and even severe depression. No thank you. And that brings us to the absolute worst morning habit. Number 1. Almost everyone is guilty of this, maybe even thinking they're doing the right thing for a fast start to their day, drinking black coffee on an empty stomach immediately upon waking up. To really understand why this is so bad, we have to look at your hormones. When you wake up, your body naturally floods with a hormone called cortisol. Think of cortisol as your body's built-in alarm clock and pure engine gasoline. It safely and naturally raises your blood pressure and your alertness to transition you from sleep to being actively awake. If you consume caffeine, which, remember, is a really powerful central nervous system stimulant, right when your natural cortisol is already peaking, it is exactly like flooring the gas pedal on a car when the engine is already maxed out and redlining. Your body basically immediately goes into a state of extreme stress and panic mode. Let's contrast the outcomes here. With empty stomach coffee, you're not just unnecessarily stressing your heart, you're actually dumping highly acidic caffeine into an entirely unprotected stomach, causing excess gastric acid to aggressively eat away at your own delicate stomach lining. Even worse, caffeine on an empty stomach fundamentally impairs your body's insulin function. So when you do finally eat breakfast shortly after, your blood sugar goes on this massive, uncontrolled roller coaster ride. This sharp spike causes sugar molecules to permanently bind to proteins in your body, creating these horrific aging substances called AGEs, advanced glycation end products. These AGEs stiffen your blood vessels. They literally wrinkle your skin by damaging collagen, and they accelerate the shrinking of your brain tissue over time. Now compare that to a post-breakfast coffee. Your heart rate stays stable, the food physically cushions your stomach lining from the acid, and your blood sugar's perfectly controlled. Now, if you're listening to this and realizing you've been making these mistakes for years, please don't panic. Our bodies have an incredible, truly miraculous capacity to heal. Let's pivot and look at the exact timing you need to adopt to reverse this damage and harvest all the incredible benefits of coffee.
Section 2. The perfect timing.
There's a golden rule you really need to follow. Wait 1 hour after waking up or drink it right after breakfast. By waiting a full hour, you allow that massive morning wave of natural cortisol to do its job and then gently settle down. And if you drink it right after breakfast, the food acts as a crucial physical cushion against the caffeine and the stomach acid. Even better, coffee contains this highly potent polyphenol called chlorogenic acid. When you consume it after a meal, this acid actively slows down your body's sugar absorption in the intestines. It basically works like a natural biological brake, actively preventing those dangerous blood sugar spikes, neutralizing free radicals, and protecting your vital blood vessels from rusting and stiffening. Okay, so now we have the timing down, but we can take this a massive step further.
Section 3. 3 Ultimate Enhancers.
To take your coffee to the next level, we're looking at 3 really simple additions: unsweetened soy milk, Ceylon cinnamon, and unsalted walnuts. When you combine these with your new coffee routine, these 3 ingredients exponentially boost your vascular and brain health. Let's look at how each one works its specific biological magic.
First, if you miss the rich creaminess of milk or those artificial creamers we just talked about, unsweetened soy milk is your absolute best friend. Soy milk contains a powerful compound called soy lecithin. I like to think of lecithin as the ultimate, highly efficient cleaning staff for your blood vessels. As it circulates, it actively binds to and scrubs the bad cholesterol right off the walls of your arteries, keeping them nice, wide open, and flexible. Plus, unsweetened soy milk contains isoflavones. These mimic natural hormones in the body to actually help prevent age-related bone density loss and keep your skin firm and youthful. It really is a total game changer for your daily cup.
Next up is cinnamon, but it absolutely must be Ceylon cinnamon. Did you know that 99% of the blood vessels in your body are microscopic capillaries? They are literally thinner than a human hair. And as we age, these tiny vessels can collapse, die off, and turn into what scientists actually call ghost capillaries. This starves your skin of essential nutrients, and crucially, it deprives your brain of oxygen. While Ceylon cinnamon contains a unique compound that magically repairs and restores these dead ghost capillaries, bringing them right back to life. But hey, a quick, incredibly crucial warning here. Avoid the cheap cassia cinnamon found in most supermarkets. Cassia contains high levels of a compound called coumarin, which can severely damage your liver if you consume it daily. Always check the label to make sure you're buying true Ceylon cinnamon.
And the third enhancer isn't something you put in your coffee, but rather something you eat with it: unsalted walnuts. Walnuts stand completely alone as the only nut heavily packed with brain-protecting omega-3 fatty acids. When you eat a small handful alongside your morning coffee, these omega-3s go straight to work, ensuring your brain cell membranes stay incredibly soft, permeable, and supple. Combined with the gentle, properly timed awakening of the caffeine, this trio is aggressively proven to fight off early-stage dementia and keep your mind remarkably sharp. So we've covered the hidden dangers, the perfect timing, and the ultimate enhancers. Let's pull all of this together to map out a really clear, actionable plan for your mornings going forward.
Section 4. Your new morning routine.
Let's look at the stark contrast here. Instead of drinking boiling hot coffee right after waking up on an empty stomach with fake creamers, a routine that, as we now know, severely damages your delicate esophagus, dangerously spikes your stress hormones, and literally clogs your arteries, you are now adopting a life-extending protocol. You brew your coffee and you purposefully let it cool for 3 to 5 minutes. You patiently wait until an hour after waking or right after you eat your breakfast to protect that stomach lining. You stir in a little unsweetened soy milk and a dash of Ceylon cinnamon, and you pair the whole thing with a small, satisfying handful of unsalted walnuts. By doing this, you are transforming a destructive, aging habit into a really powerful, protective daily ritual that scrubs your blood vessels and vigorously defends your brain.
It really is that simple to make a monumental shift in your long-term health without spending a fortune or totally giving up the morning ritual you love. So the crucial question to leave you with today is this. What will you add to your cup tomorrow morning? Will you let it cool for just a few minutes? Will you finally swap out that artificial liquid plastic for soy milk and a dash of Ceylon cinnamon? Remember, it is never too late to start, and your body is ready to heal the exact moment you give it the right tools. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to a smarter, much healthier morning routine.